All right, welcome everybody. Come on in. I don't know why, but my phone is getting spammed by some messaging right now. It's weird. But I'm just gonna put my phone on vibrate. All right, shall we do this? All right. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Nick here, and we have another Big Brother 27 recap show. And the numbers are dwindling, and the drama is getting intense. All right, let's see what happened this week in the Big Brother house. There we go. I had to think about what I was doing for a second. Perfect. All right. So here we go. We got the presentation set up. This week, we are covering week 7 in the house. We've got the wall comp that we're going to talk about. I also put Riley drama on here. I didn't make like a slide or anything because I didn't want to like show anything, but I'll just kind of brief you if you don't know what's been going on. So with that, let's actually kick it off with the Riley drama. So after last week's shocking renomination, as well as last week's shocking eviction, another week, another set of shockwaves go through the house. If you caught, so anyway, forget that. Catherine was in shambles. She was in disbelief that Riley had been evicted. Thanks to Rachel, she taught a lesson to the newbies to not mess with her. Don't come for the queen because she will attack and she will have no remorse. And sure enough, that's what happened. Now, I really felt for Ava on this part because Ava was told at the last minute they had to get Riley out. And she was just distraught. She didn't even want nobody to talk to her or anything. Rachel got her some water, tried to ease her, make her feel calm. Meanwhile, Mickey over here had just won the blockbuster and she was stressed out. Such a relief. She was also crying over Riley's eviction, only for a few minutes later to finally take a deep breath and be like, well, no, here's what happened, because she was being kind of shady with this. She was just she felt remorse over having to evict Riley and talking about how she's glad she's there, but she's upset that Riley had to go. And she's telling this to Ashley and Will. Meanwhile, Mickey, your best friend, was sitting on the block next to Riley. Aren't you happy that she's here too? Aren't you glad that you voted to save Morgan, who's supposed to be your bestie, who's supposed to be riding it to the end, ride or die to the end? What the heck, Mickey? You're just sending us mixed emotions. And Vince is just all over the place. His game is messy. He realized that he just pulled a fast one. It was a 5-4 vote. This was the closest vote we've had this season. And Vince and Ava were both the deciding factors. Right? Vince had made a promise to Kelley and Keanu. Hold on. Yeah, Vince, my keyboard. You know what? I can actually hold this. Vince had made a promise to Keanu and Kelley to keep Riley, and then the vote said otherwise. So now Keanu is trying to grill Vince over why did you vote Riley out? We made a final 3 since day 2, and now you're voting him out. Like it's obvious to Keanu that if Keanu can see that Vince is getting manipulated, heavily manipulated by Morgan and Rachel and everybody else. So Vince basically just drew a line in the sand, and now the house knows where he stands, which is the perfect time for the wall comp. Yes, the very famous Big Brother wall comp. It's hang on for dear life if you want to win head of household. So in the end, after numerous falls, it all came down to Vince and Catherine, two people who desperately needed this HOH win. Vince, because obviously everyone's grilling him about his former supposed allies are confronting him about the Riley vote, and Catherine, who just lost Riley and now wants to avenge his eviction. Each one has a reason to become the HOH this week, but only one can become the HOH. So who was it? Drum roll, please. It was Vince. Well, Vince, I'm gonna be honest with you. This was the one HOH that Vince should not have won, because now he is going to have to pick a side. He's going to have to show his cards, and this is just going to be bad news bears for him all the way around. So now, we talked about this last week. The Judges Alliance was formed in order to save Morgan, but also to solidify a Final Five deal. The goal of the judges was to get Mickey out last week. But since Mickey ended up winning the blockbuster, they had no other choice but to vote out Riley. So, and there were already three numbers to save Morgan. They just needed to get Ava and possibly Lauren. So with that, so now the focus is, can the judges stay intact? Well, according to Vince, he is very skeptical about the Judges Alliance, and he's telling Morgan this repeatedly. As you know, he's telling Morgan this. We've talked about this on the recap show, but Vince and Rachel have had a very rocky relationship all the way up to this point. So when he was brought in, by the way, he was brought in to the alliance. This was not his idea. He was just brought into the alliance thanks to Morgan. Vince is very skeptical. He doesn't know if Rachel is going to backstab him, cutthroat him, especially since Rachel just put Vince on the block on her HOH. So, but Morgan is telling Vince, like, look, trust us, okay? If you put Rachel on the block, you are going to piss off the whole alliance. You're going to lose your entire alliance, and then you will be public enemy number one, which would be bad because, according to Keanu and Kelley and Lauren, maybe he's already public enemy number one. So you're just going to make the whole house upset at you. So now Keanu, he still wants to work with Vince. So I don't know why at this point, because Vince has burned him so many times. Nevertheless, that's not going to stop Keanu from pulling the ultimate move, or what could be the biggest move of the season. He wants Vince to put Rachel on the block, which is perfect timing because Vince is already skeptical about the Judges Alliance, and he realizes that this would be a big move. However, Keanu is doing this so that way Keanu doesn't get the blood on his hands, but Vince, especially since Vince and Rachel have gone back and forth many a times. Vince knows that this would be the biggest move and that it's needed if anyone wants a path to the end. Because the longer they keep Rachel in the house, the harder it's going to get. It's going to be to get her out. So Vince realizes that this is a good idea. The only thing that's stopping him is obviously the veto. So she wouldn't go up right away. And when it comes down to it, if he does put her up on the block, does she have the votes? That's key. If she doesn't have the votes, there's no point in putting her up. And then we've got some Kelley drama going on with Vince and Kelley, because if you remember way back when, they supposedly had a final two deal, but I think pretty much Vince screwed that up. So nevertheless, Vince talks to Kelley and asks Kelley if she can volunteer to go, or if he can put her on the block. And Kelley's already like, nope. Yeah, she's mad. You've burned her like 3 times already. You're supposed to be in a final 2. Like, what's going on, Vince? Where does your loyalties lie? So Vince putting on the waterworks again, and he's teeter-tottering over what to do for nominations this week. So let's move on to the alliances for the week because we've had a lot of updates. Okay, so we had the final 2 deal between Riley and Catherine, but since Riley is no longer with us, it's safe to say this final 2 is a fail. We still have the Double the Fun alliance between Rachel and Ava. Ava still has her final 2 with Will. Now, the melting pot. Now, last week I did say that this was a fail. However, Mickey is Mickey over here. She wants to make sure that she is not on the block again. So she talks to Morgan and to Vince, reminding them about the melting pot alliance that they had with Zach. This should be a scotch-free week. She's pushing for Keanu to go up on the block. Even Rachel. So I did say it was a fail, but I put it back up on the alliance to see if there is a possibility that this can still work, especially with Morgan kind of leading the pack. Convincing Vince, look, let's do this. Let's do this and that, okay? And then, of course, we talked about the Judges Alliance. So we still have the Core 4, as well as the Peach Cobbler Alliance. Although, with these 2 alliances, they are comparing notes, and they have been talking about Mickey, so it's only a matter of time before these alliances fail. And then I did mention we had this final 3 right here, which has now become a final 2. Riley and Lauren, or not Riley and Lawrence, Vince and Lauren. But Vince also has a final 2 now with Keanu. And now Keanu and Rachel have finally solidified a final 2 after what they're calling it this season's frenemies. In fact, that is the name of their alliance, is the Frenemies Alliance. They've been back and forth, butting heads with each other, and then they're lovey-dovey again, and then they're fighting again. It's like, I don't know. Anyway, let's get to the nitty-gritty. It's time for the nominations. And Vince has a big decision to make. All right. Oh, did I forget to... Hold on. Let me fix something real quick. I think I deleted a slide. Hold up. That's embarrassing. I think what I did was I duplicated it and then I forgot to... Or I forgot to duplicate it. I just moved a slide. My bad. We're having some technical difficulty. Just making a quick change real quick. Bear with us for just a second. Okay. Share this again. How y'all doing today? Y'all ready for Labor Day weekend? That's good. Okay, we back in it. So here are the nominations pre-veto. We've got Ava, we've got Mickey, and we've got Kelley. Now, some of you are wondering right off the bat, why Ava? Why is Ava on the block? Well, if you remember from Ava's HOH, Vince was on the block, and Rachel was kind of taking over Ava's HOH, making sure that Vince was on the block. So that's why she's on the block right now. And she wasn't surprised. She knew it was coming. Mickey, no-brainer. Kelley was the shocking one because she had told Vince, look, I don't want to be on the block. So nominations are over and Mickey is fuming. She wants answers. She wants to know why she's on the block. You know, we had the melting pot alliance, and yet I'm on the block. And she goes and tells Morgan right away, like, look, that's your boy. You're close with him. He's supposed to be close with both of us. Why am I on the block? She clocks him. She clocks her too. And Morgan tries to do some damage control, even though Morgan was up there in the HOH room saying, look, Mickey is the main target. She's got to go. So Ashley and Rachel and Will are just listening along. So now I think at this point, it's safe to say the melting pot is finally done. Now Vince is starting to worry about the veto. He didn't put Rachel on the block, but that option is still available should one of the nominations come down. And he might even try to win the veto to make sure that happens. Or he can just get out scotch-free and just leave the nominations the same. But in the meantime, Keanu is still going to push for Rachel to get put on the block. And at one point, you better watch out, Keanu, because if Rachel hears about this, it's going to be bad news bears for you. But Rachel also has a suspicion that she could be the renom, so she is hoping she gets picked for this veto. Now, Mickey has a moment with Vince and actually talks with them in the HOH room, talking about how, as she told him straight up, like, I had many opportunities to put you on the block, yet you're not returning the favor to me. Like, I should have did it. I had a chance to vote you out when Zach was on the block. I kept you safe, and yet here I am suffering on the block. So Vince kind of tells her what she wants to hear and plays with the idea of possibly taking Mickey off the block. But honestly, will Vince really do that? I don't think so. Now, Mickey is hoping that one of her allies is going to get picked for the veto as well, because that would not only guarantee her safety, but it will guarantee that person's safety. So she talks to Will about possibly being house guest choice if it comes down to it. And Keanu does the same, or Kelley does the same for Keanu. Kelley is hoping that Keanu gets picked for the veto, and that way he will use the veto on her. All right, the stage is set for the power of veto competition, which, good news, by the way, Will and Keanu were picked for the veto. Go figure. This is a new competition. It's called Wine to Die For. It's a game. It's a real game of deception here. You have to trust. Oh, so there's going to be 2 glasses of wine. One of them's going to be poison, and you'll know which one is poisoned. You get 2 strikes before you're dead, basically. The person who is going to deliver the wine is going to have the option of giving the person the poison or the good wine. Now, here's the catch. The person who is going to drink, the person who receives the wine is going to have the option to switch glasses before they do their bottoms up. So it's a matter of, do you think they're lying or do you think they're telling the truth? But nevertheless, it was a competition to die for sure. As round by round, people were picked off thanks to the poison. So, who was the ultimate winner? The sole survivor of the veto competition? Mickey! Congratulations, Mickey. You seriously needed this. And she knew that she needed this veto win. And Vince is like, well, now I have to name another nominee. This could be the golden opportunity for Vince. The opportunity is in his hands. It's just a matter of, does he have the guts to do it? Could he put Rachel on the block? Morgan, on the other hand, doesn't think this is the golden opportunity. As I mentioned earlier, they have the Judges Alliance. If Vince were to put Rachel on the block, it would be bad news bears for the judges. The judges would be no more. And then Vince would have like 4 people coming after him. Which, if the house is already mad at you, you don't want everybody down your throat. Keanu has everybody down his throat. You don't want to be in that position, Vince. So Morgan is heavily convincing Vince, do not put her up. Do not put Rachel up. But Keanu, he's still pushing. He wants that backdoor to happen. But of course, Rachel goes to talk to Vince, and Vince, Inspector Loose Lips, decides to tell Rachel that Keanu is pushing for Vince to put Rachel on the block. She was furious when she heard this. So Rachel goes down to the storage room and confronts Keanu like, Vince said you're behind the charge to get me put on the block. And I said no, or he said no. So Keanu goes and talks to Vince. Keanu goes and talks to Vince and lets him know that Rachel just told her, or Rachel just confronted him asking, was Keanu trying to put Rachel on the block? Yes, obviously. Is Keanu going to tell her that? No. So now Vince is just flustered at this point because why are they both spilling the beans? This was supposed to be a private conversation, but if it involves Rachel, she can't keep it a secret. She's going to get down to the bottom. She's going to get to the bottom of things. Also, I should mention that there is a birthday dinner for Lauren, which happy birthday, Lauren. She turned 23. She turned 23. Yeah, I saw this because my cousin just turned 21. So their birthdays are like 2 days apart, 3 days apart, looks like. So there was a birthday dinner for Lauren, and everyone was going around saying nice things about the person next to them. Now, if you're Rachel Riley and you grew up in the old school era of Big Brother, you did not see any of this lovey-dovey action that is going on where everyone loves everyone. No, as a matter of fact, today I was watching some old live feeds from Big Brother 11, and I just watched a whole fight happen to where, oh, sorry, I had a pop-up show up. I don't know if you can see that, but there we go. They were throwing tons of F-bombs at each other and it was pure hatred. That was the season before Rachel started, and even in season 12 there was um, much much hatred for people, hence the Rachel and Reagan fights. I think you need to go and watch that. Compare that to today's Big Brother, you wouldn't see any of that. I wish we would, though. I wish we would. So at the dinner table, Rachel is just sitting there like, really? And she can't handle the fakeness. So she gets up, she finishes off the bottle of wine that was given to the house guests. And Kelley caught wind of, Rachel kind of mumbling something under her breath, like she was over this lovey-dovey stuff. So Kelley goes and talks to Ashley, I believe it was Ashley, about starts some drama about, I think Rachel was just not with the fakeness, and so basically saying some stuff about Rachel behind her back. Ashley obviously goes and tells Rachel, and now she's fuming with Kelley. So even Kelley was trying to say goodnight to everybody, and Rachel was just like, no, I don't want to hug. Like, no, just leave me alone. And she's trying to figure out, what did I do wrong? Like, what did I do? Oh, no. What happened was, I think Kelley was going to go to the hammock, and Rachel was like, oh, no, somebody's sitting there. There's no room in the hammock. She goes and sits in that spot. And I'm like, wow, Rachel. Just wow. You can go look it up right now. I think it's on YouTube, on the Big Brothers YouTube page. I think it was called like the bear has been poked. It was a good clip. So I would play you an audio clip, but I think it's better if you watch their reactions, watch their facial reactions and everything with the audio. So, and I'm trying not to get copyright, so I'm gonna let you guys. I think what I'll do is I'll put a link. How about I do that? Let me just put a link in the description, and you guys can go watch that clip. It was chef's kiss. Awesome. So Kelley's going up to the HOH room and just crying it out. So a lot has happened that we forgot there's still a veto ceremony coming up. And it's game time. It's literally down to the wire, 15 minutes to go before the veto ceremony. Rachel finds out that Vince is usually persuaded by the last person he talks to. So she runs upstairs right before the veto ceremony and was like, "Look, don't put me on the block, please. I can help you. Like, let's get someone like Catherine up on the block or something." Little did we know, or little did she know, that Keanu would be joining moments later. And Keanu's like, "I need to talk to Vince." Like, right, and then Rachel's like, I'm not done talking. And Keanu's not about that. Okay, he is like, "Look, I need to talk to him. I need 2 minutes. I gotta talk to him now." And so they are literally going back and forth, um, basically arguing with each other over getting time with Vince. So, and he even goes to basically kicking Rachel out and making sure that she is out of the room. So, yeah, it's wild. Well, we obviously know what's going to happen. Mickey is going to use the veto to save herself from the block. So let's take her off the block. So, the moment of truth. Who do we think? Do we think Rachel is going to be the renom? Does Vince have the guts to put her on the block? Let's find out. Oh no, it's Catherine. That's quite odd. I don't think Riley would have approved of that, Vince. So, phew, Rachel escapes the block. She is relieved, and now she's got a score to settle with Keanu, because now she knows that Keanu was trying to put her on the block, and they're going at it again. And she's all like, "I don't feel like talking. Like, look the other way. Don't talk to me." Like, it's messy. Meanwhile, Keanu is fuming because Vince did not take the opportunity. He chose to go the safe route and put Catherine on the block. This does not sit well with Keanu, and he basically put Vince in check. And good news, folks, I have some audio bit for you. So here's a little unedited version of Keanu basically grilling Vince for his actions. And I'm with Keanu on this one. He's basically spitting facts. Vince has literally screwed Keanu over 3 times. This would be the 3rd time. And, it's no holding back anymore. Keanu's got to say what's on his mind. So let me just play you a little bit of what he said to Vince after the veto ceremony.
Sort of fucking value in terms of like being able to save anybody, got them out last week. And now we have an opportunity to even the fucking playing field, and instead one of our numbers is going home. Captain would not have put you up, Vinny. Come on, man. I hate to have to fucking raise my voice and make it seem like to try and even get in to for you to understand. I don't get it. Like, what was the thought process there? You know how manipulative they are, and you let yourself fall into it? Come on, dude. You're better than that, Vinny. And the one person that you know has your back, that's been fighting for you to fucking be here, you're gonna just throw to the wayside? I was so confident in my relationship with you that I'm willing to literally give everyone else my time, because I feel like 2 minutes of my time is worth 3, 4, 5, 6 hours of theirs. But you're literally fucking proving me wrong every single fucking time, and I'm tired of it, bro. It's so frustrating.
Yeah. Oh man, the whole clip was epic. But he's telling the truth. Vince, you screwed your own game. The people that were willing to ride with you, you are turning against. And I do think, granted, I know it's going to sound bad, but I do think the Judges Alliance is going to manipulate Vince, and ultimately I think he'll be at the top of the hit list at some point. So now it's time to start discussing votes. Who do we think will vote out who? Ashley and Lauren are having a little conversation about possibly keeping Ava. But look who's chilling right up here, napping or napping. Lauren realizes this and mic drop. Her mouth just like, did I just do that? So she goes and tells Vince, like, oh, I may have just said that I was not sure about keeping Ava and she was sleeping. Or she might have heard the conversation. And it's funny that Ashley was in this situation because right when Kelley was nominated, Ashley was going up to, I think, Mickey. I think she said Mickey. Um, or maybe it was Ava. Maybe it was Ava. But anyway, whoever she told it to, she said, if you're up against Kelley, you got my vote. Kelley was laying where Ashley is sitting in this picture. Kelley was laying down. I don't know if she was awake. She might have heard that. And Ashley, being dumb, I don't even know why she's still there, to be honest. But it's because she's aligned with Rachel. That's why. Um, yeah, Ashley's spilling the beans. Like, bruh, there ain't no veto yet you're already promising people votes. Like, that's not cool, especially if they could hear you. So, all right. So now the moment of truth, the Big Brother blockbuster. Kelley knows she is at the top of the hit list and she needs this win in order to stay in the game. So in this relay, you roll a ball down the little path, but you're using these little white plastic blocks to create the path. You have to create the right path to send the ball down to the end, and there's a little stop at the very end. That's where you will lock in and win the blockbuster. So the blockbuster winner was Kelley. Congratulations, Kelley. And boy, you needed this win more than any of those girls. By the way, it's been a minute since we've seen this picture because we had this up like 2 or 3 times already. So, all right. The stage is set for the next eviction. Eviction number 7 is going to be Ava versus Catherine. Give me 1 second. I'm just getting my thing ready. I hate ads, but I understand we need ads, so keep supporting your ads, okay? All right, this is going to be an interesting vote. So let's see how the votes fell. Mickey voted for Catherine. Keanu voted for Catherine. Lauren voted for Ava. Kelley voted for Catherine. Will voted for Catherine. Rachel voted for Catherine. Ashley voted for Catherine. And Morgan voted for Catherine. Well, unfortunately, Catherine has been evicted from the Big Brother house by a vote of 7-1. And now it's time to make it official. Oops. And there we go. That leaves our top 10 for Big Brother 27. The numbers are going down as we get closer and closer to finale night, which is less than a month away, actually. A month from yesterday, September 28th. It's going to be coming pretty quick. We have the next episode of Big Brother Unlocked coming up September 5th, 8:00 p.m. So make sure you check that out. Never before seen footage, and another special guest will join the dynamic duo, Taylor and Derek. Now we have some schedule changes coming up pretty soon. The next episode will be this Sunday, August 31st, just a 1-hour episode. Wednesday, September 3rd, we have a 90-minute episode. Thursday, September 4th will be the next eviction episode, followed by Big Brother Unlocked on September 5th. Programming note, September 7th, there will be no Sunday Big Brother episode because the Video Music Awards are airing on September 7th on CBS. And yes, I have videos coming for the Video Music Awards. I will be making my predictions next week, so make sure you watch that on my channel. So because of that, there will be a special episode on Tuesday, September 9th. That will likely be the head of household and nominations. And this will start a three-peat, not a three-peat, a trifecta week, because after Tuesday, we go right into Wednesday's episode for the veto, 90-minute episode. Then Thursday, September 11th, yes, 9/11, we have a 2-hour eviction episode. And this is good for us, sort of. I wish the day was a little better. I wish it wasn't 9/11. Because we are either getting a double or a triple eviction on September 11th. We have not been confirmed, but I feel like next week I'm going to have that confirmation for you. So get ready for that. Now, more episodes will be coming later after the eviction, so just hang tight. If you missed the announcement, the jury will be 7 people this season. And that jury will begin for sure on September 11th. And I've already got the jury slides set up, so the jury slots are going to fill up pretty quickly because looks like we're only going to have jury for 3 weeks. So I will go in depth on how the jury is going to work next week, for those of you who don't know. But yeah, I can confirm for sure, regardless if it's a double or a triple on 9/11, 2 people are getting sent to jury that night. So it's just a matter of when these 3 jurors will be picked. If we get a triple, we'll also be sending juror number 3 on 9/11. Juror number 6 will be sent probably on September 25th, and then the last juror will be announced on September 28th, which is finale night. So I'll talk about jury, how that's going to work next week. And this HOH is going to be crucial because whoever wins it gets that first spot in jury. So next week on the recap show, week 8 recap, who is going to be locked in for the jury, plus a special guest from Big Brother 26 is going to be making an appearance in the house, probably for the veto competition, I'm pretty sure. And I kind of have an idea on what it could be about. Something tells me it's about The Amazing Race, because the new season of The Amazing Race is going to be a Big Brother takeover. I hate to say this, but I think next week might be our last blockbuster of the season, because clearly they're not going to have time to do blockbuster on 9/11. So I think our final blockbuster competition is going to be next week. So it's an all-important blockbuster, because once that's gone, your only chances at safety is head of household and veto. So that's where the real backdoors will begin. And until then, that is it. All right, so we're heading into Endgame now. That September is about to begin, so a lot of gameplay is about to come steamrolling, especially when September 11th hits. So the countdown to the finale has officially begun. We're less than a month away, so keep with us on the recap show, and all my contact info is in the description, so make sure to check that out. Again, next week we're going to have tons of videos going on. We've got the next recap show, as well as Video Music Award predictions are happening next week. So it's going to be a busy week, and I'm ready for it. Until then, for many of you, I hope you have a great 3-day weekend. Other than that, enjoy pretty much the last weekend of summer, basically. It came and went real quick, but we know summer doesn't end until Big Brother does. So, all right, I will see you guys next Friday. Bye.